We've loved being the arts partner in this Thriving Communities project, where we've prescribed creativity to a group of wellbeing coordinators in Leeds. This film follows their journeys through the creative process, its impact on their own mental health and well-being, and how it might influence their social prescribing practice.
I think one of the things that most of us do is if we go out is take your phone, and we all tend to spot things that we think, oh, that looks nice. Even though you're not creating it yourself, you're managing to edit it down and get a fantastic picture. So that's one of the things, but not particularly artistic. The only thing I do is I will put a jam track on and play guitar every now and again, and you get to jam along. And I've never ever been good at art, but I can play guitar. It's what I did for a long time. Anybody that can improvise knows that you go away with it and it takes your head away. You don't even look at what you're doing because it's just there. It's therapeutic.
I think I definitely am guilty of putting that pressure on myself to have a good product. I've been trying my hand at woodwork. I started an Instagram account to document what I was doing, and it's motivating in one way, but then also it's kind of daunting. My last project, I made loads of mistakes, so it feels daunting to share that. So yeah, I go through phases of really, really loving it and then building up a bit of a block. And I'd say everything that I just said about woodwork, I could apply to every part of my life. I like things that are structural, and when things go wrong, I get very uncomfortable.
I've been trying different things and not completing things. I've tried doing cooking, I started gardening, but not finished. I'm thinking about painting and decorating. I buy paints and I go and buy little brushes and stuff like that. I'm gathering materials, but I'm not actually getting down to actually painting itself as well. Same with cooking. I'm getting all these spices and things like that. So I'm just kind of storing. It's one of those things I need to choose one and just stick to it rather than just have a lot of storage.
Tell me a bit about your art gallery going.
What's happened is I've slipped a disc in my back, making it quite hard to walk. So even walking around a gallery would be quite hard for me at the moment. I used to do a lot of running. I used to go dancing. I used to play badminton as well because I was so used to being quite active, and then it's kind of gone from that to nothing. I found that really difficult, and I've replaced it with wild swimming. I've been absolutely hooked to it.
The thing is, at the moment, my garden is like a jungle because I'm just useless. Since my wife died, she used to do it all. But then I thought, well, if I zoom in and look at something that's pretty in the middle of it all and crop everything out that's an absolute scratter's mess.
Like photographing your jungle garden feels like quite a beautiful, positive thing to do with something that has been making you feel quite negative.
It was a positive thing. What I've missed particularly is playing the guitar. I used to play every month. I used to play up until 3 years ago, probably 4 or 5 times a month. Everything you play, you transfer from your head to your fingers within a split second. It's a bizarre thing.
It's playing around with the building blocks of music.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. It's playing around with the building blocks.
I think the thing that's really drawn me is your garden and Jill and the positivity around that. If we can do something fun and a bit silly and a bit joyful, like a positive thing around the fact that your garden's a jungle.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. It is a jungle, but I can find the beauty in the weeds. I'm thinking there are probably animals out there. I think there's a saber-toothed tiger out there. Can you see? There's a
hippo. Yes, I can see a hippo. Yeah.
There's a hippo that we got years ago. I could imagine doing something quite amusing by putting the hippo in various parts of the jungle. Oh, it's making me smile.
Good.
I've been going for walks, trying to find what I can find, and I found a couple of bits of broken furniture, a broken chair and a broken shoe rack. I felt weird about it. I knew what I was doing until I was doing it, and then I was like, well, this feels so silly to me.
Did it connect to that exhibition that you went to?
There was a couple of pieces at the exhibition which had some broken furniture in, so I had that in mind. This was one of them. Even though it's quite a simple form, that's a purposeful decision, so it stops and makes you look at these items again. So I started out with this kind of a cagey, boxy thing. And then this, I gave myself a minute just to try and lay them in a way where it was geometric but kind of random. And then I was trying to play on the fact that it was a chair. And then from this, lining everything up, and then I was thinking about just forgetting about the chair completely and just using those planks to try and make some sort of shelter. And once I took a step back from it, I was getting loads more ideas of more stuff I could do with it. That's what it's about, exploring and mulling it over more. And it did remind me of being like a kid, you know, just picking stuff up and putting it together like I would do with Lego or building blocks as a kid. So that was quite a nice part of it as well. Just reminding myself, you know, it's the process, it's not the product at the end of the day. I think I have broken through the I don't know what I'm doing here. And this conversation has certainly helped with that. But I feel much more comfortable with just playing around with it and see what comes out of it.
So how's your creative fortnight been?
I've been trying different things. This morning, I did make couscous with lots of vegetables and stuff. And then in the weekend, I think I made biryani, but with lots and lots of mixed spices. I think it's just the colors and stuff. And then they come together and then it just kind of brings things to life. And that's the creativeness of the cooking. I've got into the cooking because of my dad. You know, my dad was a really good cook and stuff. And just seeing the ingredients and how he could kind of create some things, you know, and taste so amazing and stuff. And he's like, oh, I'll experiment that. Oh, I know my dad used to do it this way. And so now I'm just kind of doing my own research and see if I can kind of replicate some flavors that he's kind of did and stuff. It's like a journey I'm going through with the food itself. It's not just the eating, but also that memories that I have. I think cooking was kind of a chore, like I had to do it and stuff. But now it's become more than that. It's like, oh, you know, every time I'm doing it, just remember, I'm getting a little bit of confident with my kind of cooking.
So we're going to carry on then with the cooking. And then thinking about the patterns.
I've seen some designs and Islamic patterns or symmetric patterns, or there's some like henna print and things like that.
So do you think you would like to start drawing some of those patterns? It's also about fitting it in with your time. So it's not, you know.
It's my own alone time, I find it, you know, something where I can just go and do something else and not worry about all these other things. So just kind of focus on one thing.
So I think some kind of a sketchbook, scrapbook would be really good.
So you've been taking some photos. I took my GoPro camera, you know, and I filmed my friends, and, you know, it's quite funny when you forget the camera's filming and the conversations that they're having. I think battery's going. We swam out into the sea and turned this corner. We went into this, like, massive cove. It was absolutely surreal, and I climbed out the water, went into this, like, little rock pool, which was, like, pitch black. Yeah, it was amazing.
When you find things like that when you're swimming, it feels like you've come across something that nobody else could find.
Other people might think this is really boring, but then I look at it and I'm like, I'm with my friends, I'm outdoors, I'm doing the swimming, doing the thing that I like love doing, and I've tried to kind of be in the moment. I think lockdown has been really dull, and then this has kind of really made me feel like alive, because obviously with my back I haven't been able to do the usual stuff that I like to do.
Maybe you could write some stuff about some of the feelings around it. I suppose a little bit like a journal. I think you're quite a natural storyteller.
Oh no.
Yes,
all right.
And how does it feel thinking about writing some stuff down? Does that feel scary?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm a writer.
No, you don't need to be a writer.
Yeah, I can have a go. That'd be quite a challenge for me.
I think lost confidence with lots of things. So when it comes to doing what I was going to do with the pictures, I've just not done it because I've not wanted to look at my garden. And so the poor hippo is still sat at the side of my TV. And then when I haven't done something, I start to think, oh God, I haven't done anything right. I'm going to have to do something, blah, blah, blah. And then I get more panicky, and it's not, that doesn't do me good either.
No.
So,
but that's a really interesting observation. Just in itself, that's a really valuable thing for this project. That's about your experience of trying to do a creative thing. And what's the barrier? Oh, I feel like I have to do it. And so that's really interesting. Maybe we should try and do a music thing.
I mean, I'm always taking photographs of the guitars because I'm in love with them until I sell them. They're aesthetically, they're beautiful guitars.
I wonder if we go just a bit more abstract, just pictures of the guitars and maybe one of your bits of improvisation, but you could record it.
I could record something and then I could send some nice arty photos over of guitars.
What you probably need at the moment is something that you feel more within your comfort zone, that doesn't feel like too much of a pressure, and that you can go, oh, I've done a thing and I feel good about it.
When I start to get stressed about it, I then think about the fact that I'm supposed to be doing my job at the same time. And then I think, have I got time to do this? Now, the reality is it wouldn't take me long to do it. But what I do is I get stressed because of the other things, and then I leave it till the last minute and think, oh, God, I haven't done it.
Let's go down a route of doing something that you've done a bit of already, but then we'll maybe come together and do something with it that will give you hopefully another sense of, well, I didn't just do the thing that I always do. I've done something else with it.
After our last call, I had ideas in my mind. I had a direction with it. I knew what I was doing. And then last week just flew by. It absolutely flew by. I left the stuff out in my garden and I didn't get around to it. Plus lots of rain. So it all got wet and miserable out there. So I had a half hour last night where I played around with it. But yeah, I didn't get as much time as I was expecting to.
And how do you feel about those things that you did?
Oh, I quite liked them. I was thinking about the shelter ideas that I'd done. So I was trying to kind of make almost like a tent style thing. And the way I did it, I ended up making these 3 things that were balanced upright in a triangle. And from far away, they kind of looked like they were balancing on each other, but they actually didn't touch each other at all. So I quite liked that. I'd like to try making something a bit more permanent and just balancing things on one another. So I was thinking the next time I do it, I'm thinking about getting the tools out.
And so how are you feeling about your creativity over the last couple of weeks?
I've managed to get myself a little book.
Oh, great.
And then I printed out these pictures and then I did my own little thing.
Oh, yeah,
and then,
yeah.
And these pictures.
Oh, lovely.
I went and got myself a graph paper as well to do some of the articulate design and stuff. So and then I thought, oh, I'll do my own design. They're not perfect, but at least it's a start. And then I can start looking at the patterns that I want to kind of mold or make and stuff like that, put 2 together and see what it comes as well. Sometimes when you're doing something, your full attention goes on, and it's got that thing about, like mindfulness and being in that moment when you're drawing those pictures. Sometimes, self-doubt comes into your mind and like, oh, I'm not sure it's too much. But then when you do it, you feel relieved. It's like, oh, I'm glad I did that. Some of my shapes are not kind of, correct and stuff like that. And I thought, oh, if I show it to other people, they might think, oh, well, it's not that, well, that line doesn't go there. Like, no, these are just beginning for myself as well. And then this one is just doing the shape, something different, not too emotional ones, but it's more kind of something that I can do and just switch off. But the cooking one's got a lot of emotions, a lot of memories. Art can be like a personal thing, and sometimes we have stumbling blocks, or sometimes we have obstacle in a way that sometimes we, in our life, we want to be kind of creative, but also be aware of the other emotions that we're kind of as a physically going through ourselves as well, and how we bring that into our art.
How are you anyway?
I've been all right, yeah. I probably haven't done as much swimming as I would have liked to. It does make me feel really good.
The one of everybody on the beach is fantastic.
I've noticed all my pictures, nobody's really looking at the camera. So it's like, oh, you can't see anyone's faces.
Yeah.
But it came out really nice.
The one of the 2 people, are they coming out?
Yeah, they're coming out.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like they were struggling to get out, but I think that shows about it is a bit challenging. It just shows how beautiful it was, because I didn't put any filters or anything on it. The first picture I sent you, she was wearing this hat. But she was kind of struggling to get in and out as well. She got out quite quickly.
There's a tension in her.
Yeah, there is. Is that oh my God, what's this going to be like? Is it going to be warm, cold?
Do you always get in where you experience mud?
Yeah. You see other people oh, look, go in there, it's dirty. Whereas I'm really love it. I love standing in the mud. I don't think it's mucky anymore. I just think it's really beautiful. I think it just really helped me relax, and I do feel like my whole body softens.
with my back and stuff, I feel quite tense. It just relaxes my muscles. And then when I get out of the water, I feel like I can walk a bit better. Yeah, you just do feel really alive.
The water is beautiful and still, better than any kind of pill. I seek solace in the wildness, the calming waters as they embrace me. My worries at first face me, and then at once they disappear. Everything begins to feel clear. I drift in the lapping of the waves and breathe.
I've enjoyed exploring things and seeing how my kind of creativity goes into different areas as well. So there's art in everything what we do. Like, for example, when I started off with the cooking as well, and then started looking at the spices. So I thought, that kind of is some kind of form of art itself.
What have you enjoyed most about what you've done?
Really enjoyed talking to you, actually.
Oh, thank you.
It's like, I don't want to get too emotional, but, I've paid for like private physios and, doctors and chiropractors, but nobody kind of asked me how I was feeling. But I kind of talked about like how I've been, and then how swimming's like really helped me. And I've really kind of been, I'm not a very creative person, like I know, like you say, Fatima, but now I've done it and I've actually captured some pretty photos, and they're beautiful to me.
I think with me as well, the cooking one was becoming too emotional or too kind of close to home. So I started looking at Islamic art, and I started doing my own as well. And that was just like escapism for me.
I, like you, found it more emotional than I anticipated, because all the pressures I was putting on myself to do with creativity were pressures I put on myself anyway. It's almost talking about things going on in life through the guise of something creative, and been starting to do some face-to-face appointments. What they're expressing to me in an appointment could be 6 or 7 things all interwoven, and actually drawing them out can just bring clarity to someone's mind in a way that they can't express in words. I'm just trying to think about different ways I can engage people in wellbeing conversations, because I've had it from the other side. I didn't realise how much it would be about me. That's stuff that I'm going to take into the role for sure.
When I'm getting overstressed or something like that, looking at those drawings, it helps me to kind of unwind, being kind of the caring person for everyone else. Sometimes you lose yourself. And I can see that with some of the patients and the clients that I'm working with as well. And I always say, what kind of creativity do you do to try and unwind?
I think it has made me appreciate like promoting arts, because going back to finding some fun in their lives. I found fun in doing this project and the art stuff and the swimming. It helped a lot. I never thought it would, something like this, but it's so much more to it.
Yeah, but both of you at the start of this project, when I was trying to recruit you, were really cautious about.
I sleep that night.
You were both like, "Are you okay?" But I don't know what I can do, and it sounds just hearing you talk today, but it's like complete 180. It's great. The client doesn't come to us often saying, "I need fun." I think that's where this stuff can come in, and I think, like you said, giving them something fun to do, like giving a bit of joy.
And relaxation.
So it's reminding myself that I can say, okay, well, how about we try and get a bit of joy back in your life?
We'd like to thank Ruth, Katie, Fatima and Sam for their hard work throughout this sometimes joyful, sometimes difficult and emotional process, and for their honesty in sharing their different challenges, barriers and achievements.